What's good, YouTube? It's your boy D-Riff. Hey, today we're going to be ready to 10 real WWE friendships that broke down. First time to crush on them, make sure I get hit the thumbs up. Make sure I subscribe because we're almost at 5K and I won't be able to hit that 5K without you. So continue to subscribe, continue to go crazy, run it up in the likes, and continue to share because we're going to be going to WrestleMania soon and I'm sure y'all want to see that video of me at WrestleMania. So subscribe. The goal is 10K by the end of the year, but you know, for now it's 5K. But hey, if y'all got any other videos you want me to react to in particular, let me know down in the comments. Without further ado, let's get into this video.
WrestleMania looks at 10 WWE real-life friendships that broke down. Be sure to subscribe to this. Number 10, CM Punk and
CM Punk and Hornswoggle
It's well
are
documented
friends?
that CM Punk had a close friendship with Colt Cabana, which sadly broke down after the two had to battle a WWE doctor in court. But during Punk's time in WWE, his closest friend was actually Hornswoggle. The two former WWE stars managed to get on really well for a number of years, and the two would eventually become traveling partners. The friendship though fell apart once Punk left WWE, as according to Hornswoggle, Punk decided to cut the friendship off after being asked by Hornswoggle for the phone number of a mutual friend. This perhaps seems one of the most ridiculous reasons someone can cut off a friendship, and Hornswoggle is still baffled by Punk's decision. Number 9, Randy Orton.
He wasn't your friend, Hornswoggle.
And Mr. Kennedy. Now fans are fully aware that Randy Orton and Mr. Kennedy aren't the biggest fans of one another, and whilst this is true, this wasn't always the case. Before Kennedy was fired from WWE in 2009, the two were close friends, and Kennedy was said to be someone that Orton confided in backstage. But this all changed when Kennedy was reckless with a backdrop which Orton claimed could have resulted in him suffering a career-ending injury. But instead of talking to Kennedy directly about the issue, Orton complained to Vince McMahon and was even supported by John Cena. Vince made the drastic decision to fire Kennedy, and Kennedy has never been seen since in the WWE ring. Now,
He actually has a wrestling... Oh, there it is. I was just going to say, he actually has a wrestling school. I follow him on Instagram. There it is.
According to Kennedy, the two men did eventually talk in 2020 for around 30 minutes, and they claimed that everything was good between the two men. Hopefully this is true, but this wasn't an issue that needed to take over a decade to rectify. Number 8, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hardcore Holly.
Wow.
When Stone Cold Steve Austin burst onto the WWE scene in 1996, he traveled with two WWE superstars. One was Billy Gunn and the other was Bob Holly. According to Holly, he and Austin built up a strong bond, and he claimed that the two would become great friends as they continued to grow in the company. However, this all changed when Austin became one of the biggest stars in the entire WWE. Around 1997, Austin's popularity soared, and according to Holly, Austin's ego grew substantially around this time period. Holly claims that the friendship between the two broke down after Austin wanted nothing to do with those he used to be associated with. And whilst this may be the case with Holly, a number of stars who were friends with Austin during his early days in pro wrestling, names such as Kevin Nash, William Regal and Jim Ross, will maintain close personal bonds with Austin as he went on to superstardom. Number 7, AJ Styles and Paul Heyman. The friendship between AJ Styles and Paul Heyman was built on mutual respect. That was until a real-life incident changed everything. Styles and Heyman had a close working relationship, and Heyman was heavily involved in a lot of Styles' promo and character work. Sadly, this friendship was completely destroyed in 2020 after Styles' good friends Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows were released by WWE. Styles believed that Heyman had something to do with this release, and he said that he will never trust anything Heyman says ever again. Now, things are so heated.
He probably told him, they probably was talking about them, and he was like, yo, as long as my boys stay around, everything's gonna be all cool. Next thing you know, they get released. He was like, yo, Paul, I thought you put in the work for them. I tried to put in the work for them, but da-da-da-da-da-da, and it didn't work out.
Between the two former friends, the WWE tries to keep them on separate shows in order to keep both men happy. Number 6, Arn Anderson and Ric Flair. Considered by many to be two of the most influential wrestlers of all time, Arn Anderson and Ric Flair are synonymous with each other, mainly due to their involvement in the iconic Four Horsemen stable. For decades, fans assumed that the two were inseparable, but something has changed in their dynamic over the past few years. According to Flair, the two don't speak, and he's unsure what's gone wrong. Flair claims that Arn never called him when he was sick or when his son passed away. It's clear that Arn doesn't want anything to do with Flair, and it'll be interesting to hear Arn's take on the events. Number 5, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch.
That's cap. They friends.
Now, the friendship between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch was one of the most wholesome friendships in the entire WWE.
They're still
They
friends.
were always hanging out and the two seemed destined to be best friends forever. However, in 2021, it was reported that the two were no longer friends and the friendship is non-existent. This all surfaced after a segment took place on SmackDown which was supposed to feature the two swapping their respective women's titles. Instead, Charlotte went off script to try and make Becky look foolish, and that was when reports came out surrounding the nature of their friendship. A heated backstage confrontation followed, and at one point it actually looked like it was going to get physical. The two women have been asked a dozen times over the past few months why the friendship broke down, and both managed to give a kayfabe answer. However, Becky's answer on the MMA Hour is perhaps the most accurate and revealing. She revealed, "My star was rising. We were the best of friends. It all worked when she was on top and I was below. We could all see the way things were going in 2019 and people were really rallying behind me, and this term would put me in a different league. And I don't think she could take that and hasn't been able to take it. I think it's affected her work even now. She is potentially one of the greatest, but I'm so in her head that she's lost it a bit and has lost a step. She's got that jealousy and that little
I could see Charlotte being jealous, but other than that, I mean, I don't think that they are not friends.
devil on her shoulder." Number 4, CM Punk and Corey Graves. CM Punk and Corey Graves were great friends for over a decade.
Okay, now this one I can see because when CM Punk returned recently, Corey Graves was at the announce table and he was just sitting there with his head like he got mad. He was the only person there that wasn't excited about CM Punk coming back. Him and Seth Rollins, but that explains a lot.
But that was until Punk infamously left the WWE back in 2014. According to Graves, he and Punk drifted apart once Punk left the company, and it was like Punk wanted no part of his former life. Following Punk's loss at UFC 225 in 2018, Graves took to Twitter to reference the former friendship and tweeted, "Maybe abandoning everyone who stood by your side, even when we weren't supposed to, only to have to turn your back on us wasn't the right move after all. No anger, only sadness." It's obvious that Graves was hurting from Punk cutting him off, and hopefully now Punk is back in the wrestling world, albeit in AEW, the two can amend their friendship. Number 3, Raven and Shane McMahon. When Raven first signed with WWE in 1993 as Johnny Polo, he formed an instant bond with Shane McMahon. Befriending the WWE chairman's son is either going to go really well or really badly, and unfortunately for Raven, it didn't have the best results. According to Raven, he and Shane would go out every single night, which resulted in Raven receiving monumental heat with not just Vince McMahon, but also with Linda McMahon. Raven claims that it killed his career, and when he returned to WWE in 2000, Vince and Linda still had a lot of reservations about him due to his antics with their son. The two drifted apart, and no doubt Vince and Linda had a big influence on this occurring.
Definitely.
Number 2, Scotty 2 Hotty and Rikishi. Now, it's not all doom and gloom, and sometimes friendships can be healed, and this was the case with Scotty 2 Hotty and Rikishi. The two were a part of Too Cool during the Attitude Era, but it was believed that the two had a personal falling out in 2015. When Rikishi was inducted into the Hall of Fame, Rikishi didn't mention Too Cool in his induction speech, and Scotty felt like this was incredibly disrespectful. Scotty would make a number of negative comments about Rikishi on social media, and it appeared as if the friendship was officially over. But 6 years after their apparent falling out, Scotty took to Twitter to share an image of the two hanging out. So it looks like at long last the former tag team champions are back on good terms.
He told him he was sorry. He wasn't thinking about the Too Hotty thing because there was a lot of pressure and stress. So he probably just slipped his mind. That's all it was.
And number 1, Triple H and Ric Flair.
What?
When Ric Flair rejoined WWE in 2002, he became incredibly close with someone who had admired him throughout his entire career. That individual was Triple H. Flair and Triple H began to talk about the world of pro wrestling, and they would hang out socially. This friendship blossomed, and the two would eventually create Evolution, one of the most successful stables in WWE history. When Flair retired from WWE in 2018, he chose Triple H to induct him, and would even label him as his best friend. However, in 2022, Ric Flair revealed that the two no longer speak, and he's unsure what Triple H's issue is. It was reported in 2021 that Triple H had suffered a cardiac event, so it's clear that Triple H has an awful lot to deal with, and it should have been Flair who should have been reaching out to the game.
He probably take it personal that he didn't reach out to him and check on him. That's possible. But hey, man, if y'all got any other funny botches, if y'all got any other videos you want me to react to in particular, let me know down below in the comments. That video probably will be coming soon. All y'all gotta do is let me know in the comments and like the video. But hey, without further ado, check out these other videos here on the screen. Check them out. Got a lot of videos. So yeah, if you don't subscribe, I'm sure I got something that you'll like. But anyway, like the video, subscribe if you're new. It's your boy D-Rib, man. I'm out.